Guys, Tyson Popplestone here from Relax Running. Now, today I want to have a look at 6 of the most overlooked elements of getting the most out of your body on a Sunday long run. Truth is, it doesn't matter whether you're brand new to running or you're an experienced runner, whether you're fit, whether you're unfit, a 1500 meter runner or a marathon runner, the Sunday long run is a core component of all of our training weeks. Yet, despite that, there are so many overlooked features that we can apply to our weekly long run, allowing us to get more out of our bodies when we're out there doing it. That's what I want to look at today. All right, number 1, we have to know our why. What is the reason that we're out there doing the long run? Why is it that we've chosen the distance that we've chosen? The truth is, despite the fact that, sure, 1500 meter runners and marathon runners are both going to have a weekly long run, that doesn't mean that the distance, the duration, the pace, the intensity that they're going to be running is the same. Your first step is to clarify, hopefully with a coach or someone you trust in the field of distance running, what it is that you're training for and which part of your build-up you're actually in. That's going to dictate greatly how far, how fast, how long, how hard you push this weekly long run. Maybe in a 16-week marathon build-up, you start with a 90-minute long run, and then at week 14, you're going to be doing a 2-hour, 30-minute long run. Know where it is in your build-up, know what it is you're training for, and know specifically what you're trying to get out of your training session. If you can start with the destination that you're trying to prepare for in mind, that's going to allow you to work backwards from there with someone you trust to make sure that your weekly long run is specifically tailored towards the goal you have. Don't just go out there and guess. Don't just go out and go, oh, I guess I'll do a 2-hour run. That sounds like a good distance. Figure out your goal and work backwards from there. That's the most important place that you can start in preparing for the distance, duration, intensity of your weekly long run. The second thing we want to talk about is hydration and fueling. Now, so many of us think when we hear the words hydration and fueling, okay, I have to make sure I drink heaps of water and eat heaps of food. While that's partly true, it misses some important ingredients that's going to really help benefit your long run. And let's start the day before. If you've got a 2-hour long run planned for a Sunday, then on the Saturday, you've got to make sure that you're not only hydrating well, but you're hydrating with purpose. Too many distance runners go, okay, I've got a long run tomorrow. I just have to smash as much water as I possibly can. The problem with that is if you overload your body with water, then naturally you're going to be going to the toilet more than you usually would. Now, each and every time you go to the toilet, you're not just getting rid of the hydration or the water that you've overconsumed, you're flushing out the electrolytes and the salts that are actually going to help benefit your long run performance tomorrow. So you need to figure out what specifically are you losing when you sweat, so that you can make sure your body's topped up with that or replacing that effectively. One of the best places for you to start to figure that out is with the Precision Fuel and Hydration Free Sweat Test, which I've linked in the description to this video below. Now, this sweat test is online and it looks at the volume and intensity that you sweat at. And with the results of that, it offers you recommended products that's going to help make sure that your sodium levels, your electrolyte levels are topped up effectively and that you're actually hydrated in a way which is suitable to your running and sweat style. So don't just think, okay, the generic advice is drink 2.5 liters of water the day before, because while that might work for someone, running is such a unique and individualized sport that it may not work for you. Take some time to figure out what it is that you're losing when you sweat so that you can replace it or make sure the stores are high before you get out there and running. The third thing we want to speak about is pacing. What pace should you be doing your Sunday long run at? Well, the truth is it's a very simple but very trendy topic at the moment, so it makes it easy for us. Generally, your Sunday long run is going to be around your zone 2 heart rate training. That's low heart rate training. If you don't have any heart rate monitor or fancy watch or even understand what that means, sure, you can go and Google it and research all that. I've got videos that I can link in the description below to help you out. But for today, essentially, what we want to do is make sure that our Sunday long run is done at zone 2 or conversational pace. Conversational pace is exactly what it sounds like. When you're out there running with the people that you're running with, make sure that you can maintain a relatively comfortable conversation. If you start finding yourself not being able to talk because the pace is too intense, you're going faster than you need to be. Make sure that conversation is kept calm, kept relaxed, and kept consistent. And if you can't maintain it, slow it down a little bit. Obviously, depending on where you're at in your fitness journey and specifically what you're training for is going to dictate how fast and how far we go in certain parts of the build-up. But as a general rule, let's start with that conversational pace and adjust from there. All right, number 4, you want to plan your route. You want to know exactly where it is that you're going. Do you want elevation? Do you want distance? Do you want traffic? Do you want quiet? Do you want hills? What is it that you're looking for in your Sunday long run? A little bit of Googling before you get out there for your run can be very beneficial. You don't want to go outside and realize, oh my gosh, I'm stopping every 100 meters because I've decided to run around the city. Have a look at where the local gardens are, where the local tracks are. Where is it that the locals do their long runs? There's a reason that they're out there. I would encourage you to consider things like, okay, how far is it that you want to run? Do you want big hills or do you want it flat? Do you want traffic or do you want quiet? Do you want people around or you want to be there completely by yourself? These are really important elements to consider, because then you can go out there and just enjoy what it is that you're doing. You don't have to go out there and be like, oh, I really didn't plan well for this. This is really not what I was looking for. Spend some time the night before figuring out exactly where it is that you want to run. And if you haven't been to the town that you've been to before, figure out where the locals run. That way, there's no extra surprises. You can put your energy directly towards your running performance and forget about everything else that might take away your focus from your run. All right, second last point, number 5, you want to be out there with the right gear. Let's start with the shoes. You don't just want to go to your local sport shop and think they look like nice shoes. I guess I'll just go with those. If you can, go to a shoe store which offers specific technique advice and gives shoe recommendations based on the way that your foot hits the floor when you run. This means that your foot's going to be offered greater support and greater protection, with the wear and tear being reduced on your body, which hopefully leads to you being more consistent and attaining more longevity in the sport. If you're out there with a more appropriate pair of shoes for your running style, you're going to be more comfortable. You're going to enjoy the process more. Running can get difficult even with the perfect gear. So let's eliminate the extra stress of realizing that you're in the wrong shoes. They're causing blisters. They're too small. They're too big. They're too tight. They're too wide. Do the work before you get out there and ask someone like a podiatrist what the best shoe for you is. Beyond that, you want to figure out what kind of clothing do you like running in? Is the clothing that you're running in the appropriate clothing for the weather that you're in? You don't want to go out there in a singlet if it's snowing. You don't want to go out there in a long shirt if it's hot. You want to figure out what is the weather, how can you be most comfortable? Running has a reputation for challenging us even when things are perfect. So eliminate that stress, find out what works for you and apply that regularly so you make sure you're super comfortable when you're out there getting the work done. All right, and lucky last, let's talk about variety. Now, what do we mean when we say variety? Mix up that Sunday long run. Don't just do the same thing each and every week. You're gonna get so bored, you're gonna get so over it. If you're in a new place, check out some new scenery. If you're in the same place as you always are, find out if there's any new runs available. Maybe drive a little bit to get to the start point of your long run. Don't make the mistake of being so monotonous that it gets incredibly boring and takes away your motivation to get out there and do it. Mix it up, make it fresh, run with new people in new areas. It's a far more enjoyable way to spend your weekly long run. All right, the truth is there's so many recommendations and tips and strategies to get the most out of your body for a weekly long run. I've only looked at 6 of them, but if you've got a couple that you think I've missed or you think people could benefit by, whack them in the comments below. If you do need some help with your running training, we have professional running coaches available at Relaxed Running. Regardless of whether you're brand new to the sport or you've been at it for years, we're here to help you from whatever distance you're starting at all the way up to the marathon. So if you need some help, make sure you reach out by hitting the link in the description below. Make sure you also check out the Relaxed Running podcast. If this video is helpful, hit that thumbs up button. It helps us a lot. Make sure you hit subscribe. Got new videos coming out each and every week. But for now, happy training, enjoy that long run, and let's continue the conversation down in the comments below.